For those that don't know, we do about 2 segments every week. We release them on Wednesdays and Fridays. If you watch the podcast when it debuts, you get to get those segments first. But let's get right into it, B.
Let's get after it.
This is no other way to put it. Is the Broncos turnaround legit? Have they gone from a bottom feeder team to a respectable team?
So I'm gonna have a weird take here. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say that I believe they've been kind of average throughout the entire season. Like, I don't think this past 3-game stretch kind of proves anything yet about this team. And before you guys roast me here, just hear me out, okay? The first thing you think about when you hear, the name Broncos, you think of that 50-point loss to like the Dolphins, okay, which is bad, okay? But if we take that out of your picture, they lost a 1-point game in week 1 against the Raiders. They lost by 2 points in week 2 against the Commies. So that game, both those games could have gone either way. They could have gone 2-0 or 1-1. I'm sorry, go ahead.
What's their point differential? Do you know that based on if you took the 70-point game out?
Oh, for the entire season?
Yeah, but if you took that 70-point game out for the other remaining 7 games.
I want to be able to. I mean, just eyeballing it, I won't be able to add it all up right now because I'm not that smart. Okay. But they lost by 1 point to the Raiders, 2 points in week 2. They won by 3 points against the Bears, and then lost by 10 against the Jets. Lost by 11 to the Chiefs. They beat the Packers by 2. So you would say maybe averages 7.
Yeah, the point differential is negative 19.
Yeah. So I mean, so the point I'm trying to make is, or at least finish my point here too, is like, yeah, they beat the Bills. A lot of weird stuff was going on in that game. Granted, they won still. A lot of weird stuff was going on. They beat the Packers. Packers failed to win the game on a game winning drive. So I guess hats off to them. But again, another game that could have gone either way. The Bears completely blew it against them. It was like 28-7 with like 2 minutes left in like the third quarter. Ended up coming back to win. Again, hats off to them for making that crazy comeback. But another game that could have been a loss for them. The same thing for first 2 weeks. They could have had wins. So I know it's kind of coulda, woulda, shoulda, and the record is a record, and the games they're winning is, they're winning their games past 3 games. So I don't want to discredit them there, but the point I'm trying to make is like they've been on this like teeter-totter all season, like bunch of weird games that are decided by a play or two. That's just like weird stuff is just going on, and it's hard for me to personally read them. Because just a bunch of weird stuff has been happening. I mean, think about that 50-point loss to the Dolphins. When was the last time that happened? And they came back the following week and beat the Bears. Like, it's a weird stuff going on. And I know it's not really hard stats or numbers, but I feel as though they kind of been the same team all season. It's just the past 3 games, I don't want to say they've been getting lucky, but the ball has been kind of bouncing their way more, if that makes sense. Besides the Chiefs game, they completely just won that Chiefs game. They won 24-9. Mahomes was sick, whatever. But yeah, they clearly just came out there and were a better team that day. But my final point is a lot of weird stuff has been going on during this Broncos season. It's hard for me to read if this turnaround is really like them getting better, or is it just luck bouncing their way?
Yeah. I want to turn to our viewers real quick. If you guys want to hit the comment section, tell us what you think. Have the Broncos been regular all season? Have they been average all season? Or have they really sucked and they actually are having a turnaround here? While you're down there, give us a like and subscribe. Like I said, we do this all the time. We do this every week. We like to have fun. But yeah, let us know what you think. I'm going to say that I don't think they ever were. I'm going to kind of agree with you and kind of refine the point a little bit here. I don't think they ever were a shitty team. I think what has happened with the Broncos is they have been a bad team for so fucking long that we kind of just associate that with them. And especially after the Nathaniel Hackett experiment we had last year where they just looked shitty all fucking year. I know I'm cussing a lot here now, but when they just looked really bad all year, I think that tainted our vision coming into this season. The expectations for them really weren't there. There's a couple people that were like, oh, maybe they'll win 10 games, but I feel like for a lot of people were like, well, Russell Wilson's still washed. This, they're still bad. They're still this, blah, blah, blah. They've traded away Bradley Chubb. So we came into the season with a bad taste of the Broncos. And then once they lost, they got blown out by 70. It was like, cool. That's just validation for us. That just proves our point. We've now validated they're not a good team. And then you had Russell Wilson, who wasn't putting up spectacular numbers. There was a couple boneheaded picks to begin the season. And it was just the same thing. It was, oh, see, there we go. Verification, he's washed. Proof. Sean Payton was the guy. Look at Sean Payton. Shouldn't have been talking that shit. I think it's just been a matter of it's just been clouded. And now that we're getting away from it, and now some bounces are going their way, they're kind of returning to the medium on their weirdness. We're now going, oh, see, it's a turnaround. It's not a turnaround. They've been the same team all year. They've been an average team all year. It's just now the bounces are kind of going their way. The only big difference we could really, I apologize for that. The only big difference we can really say about it is that Chiefs game, which was it more on the Broncos or was it more on the fact that Patrick Mahomes had the flu and just wasn't playing well, and well, it is what it is. You do what you got to do. And then they beat to be frank, they beat a bad Packers team. The Packers are not good this year. Jordan Love is not the answer. It's a bottom feeder team, to be honest. And that's just being brutally honest about the situation. And then you take it to the game against the Bills where there's like 3 times in that game the Broncos should have lost that game on that final drive.
Yeah.
So again, is it a matter of the Broncos are really good or the Bills were really mismanaged? And we'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, again, I think it's the long and short of it is they've been average all year. We're no longer primed to think they're bad. We're now seeing them for what they actually are, which is they're an okay team. They're all right. Yeah. They're fine. They're not great. They're not bad. They might compete for a playoff spot, but they're not going to get to the playoffs and make noise there. They're going to be an okay team the rest of the way. They'll probably end up going, my guess is somewhere around 500.
I think so too.
Yeah. But I don't know. You guys tell us what you think. The Broncos an average team? Are they not? If this is where we're losing you on the segments, if the Broncos, you're like, wow, I just want to see what these guys' thoughts are on the Broncos. Thank you for tuning in with us. Tell us what you think. We really love to hear it. We usually respond in the comment sections. Again, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. We will see you guys on our next segment or the next time we see you.